friends, welcome to Detox with River. And you are going to join me on my morning, how I make my smoothie. And I really hope you're digging my 80s kind of flashbacky do and style here. Fell out of my bun, kind of groovy, and only thing I had around that had kind of a bra in it so I could do this with you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this here, kind of have a selfie stick like thing. So I'm gonna speed this up as I go along and probably do a little voice talk over so that you don't have to watch me cut and prep things. But this is one of my favorite items I possess. It's a Vitamix. I love it. It has the blade built in here, so when you set it on it, that's it. None of that, like, you know, taking it apart, taking the blade out. It has, let's see here, has on off. It has a switch that goes from 0 to 10, and then a low and a high. So the groovy thing about this is that you can adjust it so many different ways. Now, if you leave this going for any amount of time, it will heat up so much that it will actually create like hot liquid. So you can make soup in this thing. Like this is an amazing device. So I love my Vitamix. So that's that part. My chopping block here. Follow the blood type diet. I make my smoothies, so I am going to use a lime. I am going to use one avocado. Banana is on my avoid list. If banana was on my to-do list, I would add it because it's a nice thickener and sweetener. But since I can't have that, I'll use the avocado. I love avocado. I'm going to do maybe a chunk about that big of ginger, and what else look at that here? I'm gonna do some cucumber, I'm gonna do some spinach, do some organic spinach, got my pear, got some organic mixed berries. So what I recommend when you're detoxing as far as juicing goes, I mean, as far as making a smoothie goes, and juicing, but is to not use sugary fruits, because one of the things we're doing is giving our body a break from things that are addictive, and sugar is a big one. Even in the forms of fruit, it's nice to give our bodies a break. So things like green apple, Granny Smiths, if you've eaten them before, you know that they're not really sweet. They're more on that kind of sour side. And then pears, I just use a little bit of a pear. I like that it has quite a bit of fiber in it and a lot of water in it, and it has a relatively low sugar content. Berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, boysenberries, things like that, have really low sugar content. Strawberries have a little higher than things like raspberries and blackberries, blueberries, but still not bad comparatively. The highest actually fruit content veggies there are grapes and bananas. So if I was doing this with the banana, I would just put a wee little bit in for some texture and for some flavor. So I use about a half of a cucumber, and I am going to use this whole, so I've already pre-washed these. With pears, I don't worry about cutting out the seeds. I toss them all in. I don't have to chop these up, it just makes it a little quicker. For the apple, I'm just gonna use half of him. Now apples do have, their seeds have arsenic in it. Now it's not a giant amount, but and I have eaten seeds before, and it's not like it's gonna kill you unless you're living off of apple seeds. However, when I'm detoxing, I like to keep as much things out of my system that are toxic as possible. So I'm gonna remove those. This lime, I'm gonna do about a half of a lime. And I am just gonna remove the skin. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the blood type diet, again, I'm a big believer. I've done some personal research on it, and I'm a huge believer based on personal experiences now, as well as my mom's personal experiences. There's a great app called the Blood Type Diet app. You can buy it for, I think it's like $3.99 and keep it forever. And it's great because it has your blood type, it has your foods that are voids, as well as beneficial. So there's 3 types of food. There's beneficial, which those foods act like medicine to your body. There is neutral, which those are not harmful or beneficial, so they're fine to eat. And then there's the avoids. So the avoids actually acts like toxins in your body. Since these avocados are really small, I'm going to use a whole one. So I've had a large avocado the other day that I used it 4 different smoothies because it was so big. So it just kind of depends on the size. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to toss all of this in here. So I've got my half of my apple. I've got my pear. I've got my cucumber. I've got my half of a lime, got my avocado, and I had to cut this little bit of ginger. So ginger is a really good thing to consume, whether you're making ginger tea or putting it in your juices or smoothie. It's really great for the circulatory system, your immune system. Is just a really great, helpful little guy. And I love ginger. I'm just gonna toss that in there. And I'm gonna toss all the rest of the spinach. So I do like a good, I'm just gonna use all the rest of this. There's not too much left in there. All that. And then sometimes I throw a little kale in there and sometimes I don't. If I'm doing kale, I will, in my smoothies, I tend to not use the stalk. So I save these though for my juices when I'm juicing. So I'm just gonna toss kale in here. And now we need some liquid. So there's a couple different things you can do for liquid. So I make iced tea and I make it out of herbal tea bags. So for example, last night, Trader Joe's has this pomegranate green tea that I experimented with last night that was delicious. So I'm gonna add that in as my liquid. Now you can use filtered water, you can use juice, but I would highly recommend using the juice you made so it doesn't have a lot of sugar instead of like processed juices. The one juice that I have found that I have used before, it's called Suja, and used to be able to get it at Costco. I haven't been there for a minute, but I saw it the other day at Huckleberry's and it's great. It has like kale, cucumber, mostly all green veggies. I think it has apple, a little bit of apple in there is the sweetener. And so it's yummy though, because it's not sweet. A lot of those green juices are just full of fruit and just super chocked full of natural, but sugars. So I'm gonna use the tea that I was talking about. So I found this fun jar, which normally, actually Nate found this for me. Normally I would use this for things like rice, but I was like, yes, what a great idea. So I'm just gonna fill it up about there. And if you know, the more liquid you put in, the thinner it will be. The less liquid, the thicker. Just gonna toss a little bit of frozen fruit in there. I'm just gonna do about a handful. And all right. Now, put this bad guy back on. And the nice thing about the Vitamix is it has this plunger, which you can take this off and burp, burp. So if things get stuck down there, you can tamp around without having to stick things in there and get your blade. So if you do have a Vitamix, or if you're getting a Vitamix, you want to always have it set at low and 0 when you start it. So you're going to start it, and then you're going to slowly turn this up. Once you get it all the way up, then you can click this to high. So here we go. Now, if I had something in there like a frozen banana or something like that that was hopping around and not getting ground, turn it all the way back down to low and kind of just work with this setting so it kind of grinds. If that doesn't work, use your plunger. Mine's fine. It's good to go. Now remember, if I was to leave this in a while, it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and eventually will turn into a warm beverage. So you don't want to do it for too long. If you do want it colder, you can throw a couple ice cubes in it. So that is that. And then I'm a big fan of mason jars. I love these quart-sized mason jars. So it's a quart jar of juice is what I drink every day, and I split it in half into 2 different jars, fill it up with filtered water, and I have one for lunch and one for dinner. But this is my smoothie breakfast, so also a 32-ounce quart jar. So if I ever make a little extra, I give that to Nate, so he gets stoked on that. Put a little bit in here. All right, now, so this is my morning smoothie. Super, super, super yummy. Okay, so I want to show you another cool thing about the Vitamixes. So, you know, typically you would have to clean, and there's blades in there, so it's a little challenging. So, I'll be right back. Okay, so what I do to clean this thing, this is my favorite part. One of my favorite parts about this. Rinse it out, just give it a quick rinse the lid. Fill it halfway up with water and a drop or 2 of soap, like liquid soap. And then we're gonna turn it on, high and let it run for a minute. And it just heats up, it soaps itself, and then you just rinse it and you're good to go. Maybe once a month I'll give it a little scrubby scrub with a brush just to kind of get the hard water off the sides. But other than that, Vitamixes rock. Also, lastly, when you're done with your Vitamix, always remember to turn it down and down, because so many times if I've forgotten to do that, you turn it on and it's just like it goes like balls to the walls from 0 to 90. So remember that one. And voila. Quick and easy. So the whole process of making my morning smoothie takes 5-10 minutes maybe, so pretty darn simple. So all right, have a great day. I'll give you some more here in a few. All right, bye.